Hi there, back for my weekly weigh-in. I think this is week 21 or 22 following LapBand surgery. My weight last week was 188.2, and this week it is 187.0, which is a 1.2 pound weight loss. Kept the carbs up. I kept them between like 45 and 55 for the week. Mostly it was avocado and peanut butter that contributed to the high carb count. However, I had chips a couple of times this week as well because my husband had bought some for the kids, and apparently you can't bring stuff like that into the house without me eating it. And they're not even chips that I even like, you know, like it was like a thin barbecue chip and like a thin sour cream and onion. Those are not even chips I would ever touch for myself, but apparently couldn't do without them. But I did only have 1 ounce of them each day that I had them. So I capped myself. I practiced self-control in terms of, you know, I should have practiced self-control as far as not having them, but I didn't. So I practiced self-control in the amount that I had. So I feel like that's a good thing, and that's a win for me. Because as you know, just maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago, I had like the full bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, gigantic bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, and I ate every single one of them. So, you know, like I'll take little victories, you know, those are the ones that count. So I increase my carbs, so I've increased them to 45, 55 a week or a day, and it was able to lose a pound, which I think is great. The trouble with that though is that I'm eating like 45 or 50 carbs a day. Can you imagine like if I were not doing like a low carb diet? So let's say that I were eating like 100 or 150 carbs a day, which seems normal, you know, at least according to like myfitnesspal.com, but I don't think I'd be losing anything if I were eating like a normal amount of carbs. And that's concerning, you know? So I'm thinking that like this lifestyle is probably going to have to remain forever, you know. Maybe I could maintain at like 100, but I think that if I did any more than that, I might be pushing it and I might be gaining. So anyway, that's not for, I don't need to think about that for a long time, you know, until I'm like in a place of maintenance. But that's interesting, you know, it's interesting to me. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do like maybe the 50 carbs one day, and then maybe the next day do like 20 carbs or less, like so that way I can kind of mix it up. Because I don't want to get to a place where I'm not losing weight anymore, because I don't think that I'm at my desired weight. I think I would like to see it lower than that. Though I don't have like a number in mind, I do have like, there are things about my body that I would like to see change. Number one, I would really like some collarbones, and they are making their appearance slowly, but not, you know, they're not there yet. So I think that I want to get to a place where I do have collarbones. In addition to that, like, and I saw this on a video. No, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a picture of someone on YouTube though. I think it's one of the girls on Proof Weight Loss Surgery Works. One of those girls, but she had put up a picture. And in the picture, she had her upper legs together, but there was like a bit of, you know, you could see through like, you know, like that, you know, like here's the knee and then here's the thigh or something, you know, and so you could see a little bit through that. I would like to get to a place, like, I don't know if that's possible because of all of the excess skin that I have, but I would like to get to a place where I can see, you know, even if it's like 2 centimeters, if I could just see through to the other side, that would be exciting. So, you know, I think that those like body goals is more what I have as opposed to weight goals. And then maybe once I get there and I see those body goals, maybe I'll know, ooh, this is the weight that I would like to be at. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So anyway, there's that. Now another something about my body. I saw a friend this week that I hadn't seen in quite a few weeks. And I saw her at the grocery store, and I was like, hey, you know, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're just disappearing before our eyes. And then she looked at me and she goes, do you feel like you have no boobs at all anymore? Well, I didn't tell you said that, actually. So apparently my tits have gotten a lot smaller than they were because they were, you know, gigantic fat cells is what they were. So then Thursday night, my husband, we're, you know, taking care of business, and he says to me, babe, your boobs have really gotten a lot smaller. Thank you. Thank you so much. So twice in 1 week I have been told that I have like microscopic tits, so that's kind of amazing. But though he did follow up to say like, it reminds me of like when we first met. And so when we first met, I was like 17, 18 years old and, you know, still kind of tight-bodied and still had, you know, probably some perky boobs. But anyway, so, you know, I mean, I had to gain like 150 pounds to get like my double D's, and so now I'm down to probably more like a B cup. But I'm okay with that. I'll take it. I've got to get some new shoes. These are my shoes that I've been wearing like since this began in like May, and so finally, for the first time in my life, I have worn out a pair of shoes. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like it's completely worn. Like this is just flat here, and pretty much here as well. So you can kind of see where I put all my weight and everything. But in addition to that, it's got a little hole in it too. So I'm trying to make these shoes last until after Christmas because, you know, obviously Christmas is an expensive time of year. And we've got a lot of stuff, well, not a lot of stuff, but the boys are into video games and stuff, and so they've got expensive taste, so I do not need to be doing anything with my shoes at this point. Now, my nail girl and I also decided that we were going to push back the pole dancing classes until the beginning of the year, which is very beneficial, I think, for me and my budget, because I would have probably had to scrape together some pennies to do it just with Christmas and everything. We've had a lot of bills lately too, so that's good. My husband is finally down into the 200s, which is very exciting. He's like 299. We've been working out together because he's been working more mornings rather than nights, and it's really good for me to have him working out with me because he walks a lot more quickly than I do. And so it keeps my speed and my pace up as well. So that's really good. The problem is that he doesn't want to walk as long as I do. So generally he'll like head home, you know, maybe like 3/4 of the way through, and then I'll finish up by myself. Also, people that I know but that I haven't seen in a little while don't recognize me. Like literally, they have no idea who I am. So twice in the grocery store, because, you know, I live in really small town Texas. We've got one grocery store, which is apparently where everyone congregates. So I was at the grocery store last week and I saw a woman who's literally my neighbor. She lives behind me. Our boys used to play together. And I saw her and I was like, hey, how are you guys doing? You know, how have you been? It's been forever. And she looked at me and then she turned around and she started shopping again. And I went, hey, I'm talking to you. And she looked at me again. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I was like, Lindsay Arbogast, Cody's mom, I live behind you, like, and she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even recognize you, like, you've lost so much weight. And so then there were some other people whose children, or whose nephew was in our wrestling club last year, and I saw them, and I was like, hey, how are you guys doing? And she looked at me, and like it has to register, you see this. Oh my gosh, look at you, how are you? So she calls her husband over, and she's like, hey, do you know who this is? And he's like, yeah, I think so. He had no idea who I was. Not a clue. I've been to their house before. We spent Memorial Day together, you know. Wasn't that long ago that we saw each other. And she's like, this is Lindsay. And he was like, and she's like, Coach Dave's wife from the wrestling club, Cody's mom. And he's like, oh, wow, yeah. Wow, I didn't even recognize you. Like, and that's just hilarious to me. And like, what a great feeling to, like, that I look like a completely different person. It's incredible to me. It's just incredible. This whole thing is just incredible to me. Well, anyways, have a good week. Bye.